Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lineage Legacy Podcast. My name is Francisco Aguilar. I am your host. And today in house, we have a very special guest. I have my friend Noe Toledo. Am I pronouncing that right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Noe Toledo, but everybody really knows me as Noe because when they see the name, they don't pronounce it correctly. But it's the same name as Noah, but in Spanish is Noe.
Right. So I'm pronouncing it as they gave it to you.
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. Nice. So, yes, I have the honor and privilege of having him in-house today. Thank you for coming in, man. I appreciate you. I know I may have been bugging a little bit, but, this is, it's part of my, I'm like, man, if I'm not trying, nothing's going to happen, So,
You're persistent, man. No. Well, thank you, but I know I've been a little busy the last few months to get out here. It's been a long year. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and we'll get into that. But we finally made it, and it's a Sunday. You're taking the time, so that shows a lot that you're going after it. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Of course. So, actually, I wanted to, tell the people how we met. If I remember correctly, I met you through your cousin Christian Magadan. So shout out Christian, a good friend. I think the first time I met you was about a year ago. I mean, I don't know exactly the exact date, but it was at the ProSource networking event that NHCA was holding.
Correct.
Right? I think so. So I remember Christian telling me, hey, I think before that or the day of, he's like, hey, you got to meet my cousin Noe. He's coming in from Texas, or he's in from Texas, and he's doing some great work out there, killing it in his business, and I was just like, okay, cool, I'll meet him. And he introduced me to you, man, and I like the vibe. I like the energy that you had going on. And then, we got to talk a little bit, followed each other on Instagram later on. And man, I like to see what you got going on too. Like you're killing it. You're always like on social media. You're posting up what you got going on, what you're doing. And a lot of cool things, which we'll get into later on in the podcast. But this is about you and your family and your lineage, to share your story, to share where you guys come from. I know, you're Mexican, right?
Correct, yes.
So as Mexicans, we honor and respect our family and our parents a lot, right? So our culture, our background means a lot. And I know that you probably got some good, cool stories in there. So start off by letting us know where you guys are from. I mean, let's see. Tell us about what's the furthest back that you were able to get information about your family, about your ancestors.
Yeah, so both my parents, my mom and my dad, and their mom and dads, they're from Guerrero. So there's two small villages. One's called Amuco, and the other one's called, my dad's from Amuco, and my mom's from Los Terrones. So they're right next to each other, just like Escondido and San Marcos. That's where they were born and raised. But where are we from? I would say that from there, but also Escondido, because I was born and raised in Escondido, and that kind of molds and shapes us and them as well as adults. So I can say we're all Mexican, Mexican American. They're Mexican, and yeah, that's where they're from.
Okay. And do you have information about your grandparents, or great grandparents, where they were
I have
from?
Information about from my mom's side, it's going to be my mom. My mom's side is going to be my grandpa and my grandma, and then my grandpa's mom, which is my great grandma. From my dad's side, it's just going to be my grandma and my grandpa. But I've met all five of them, and I've had a really good relationship with my mom's dad and my mom's mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So
your mom's side of the family.
Correct. Yes. I met my great grandma. I vividly remember her as a kid, but I remember her as a strong, skinny old lady that she just kept moving till she was 90, 92 or 95 when she passed away. And from my dad's side of the family, same thing. We used to travel a lot when we were young. We used to go and see them at least twice a year. So I got to know them, but I never got to know them in a personal level because I was young and I was very shy as a kid. But I know them through other family members and their stories. So of how, and then you put it all together and you get a good idea of how what kind of people they were, right?
Yeah.
So all great people.
Right. About your great grandma from your mom's side. What's her name if you remember?
I don't remember her name. I know her by great grandma.
Or like, did you call her like mama or
No, just
abuelita?
Abuelita.
Okay.
I called her by abuelita.
Yeah.
That's not very much. I met her a few times, but like I said I was probably, I think the last time I saw her I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. So it's been a long time.
Yeah. And then your grandparents on your mom's side. Do you know do you have their names?
Yeah. So my mom's side, her name was Juanita.
Mhm.
So that was her name, and my mom's dad, his name is Alejandro. He's still alive. So from all five of them, my grandpa's the only one that is still alive, and he's one of the couple guys that has shown me how to work.
Okay.
So, and I have a really good relationship with him, and he goes back and forth to Mexico. So he has some land over there that he's still moving. He's in his late 80s.
Oh, wow.
But strong guy. He actually not long ago his wife, because my grandma passed away, but he got his new wife,
Mhm.
sent me a picture of him being on a ladder. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, she's like, mira no deja de trabajar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you said his name is Alejandro?
Alejandro, yes.
And then his previous wife was Juanita.
Juanita. Yeah. So Juanita, and I had a really good from all of them. I think I had my grandpa too, but I probably had the best relationship with her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And were they, as you remember, were they both from Guerrero, from that area?
Correct. Yeah, they both. A long time ago, they all, they didn't leave their village. They stayed in the village. They married someone in the village, and by someone they knew, and that's how they would meet. I think it was probably my parents' generation. My grandpa actually, he was my mom's dad, which is Alejandro. He was the first one to actually leave the country, come to the U.S., and then slowly he brought over my mom's siblings, my mom, my aunt, their brothers, and all that. So he first brought the females, from what I remember, the females, and then he brought the males.
Okay.
And so and all the females were the ones that they became citizens and residents back. I think it was like in the 80s or 80s or somewhere when they had the amnistía back in the you were able
to around that time.
Yeah.
And so Juanita and Alejandro, your grandparents from your mom's side, do you know like where they? Well, they must have met there, right? I'm not sure if you know these kinds of stories or that information, like details of where they met, how they met, stuff like that. If not, it's okay.
I do not. I haven't really touched that side of the conversation with my grandpa. He's very, very old school. Very hard for him to share his feelings. Although I had I still have a good relationship with him. He shared a lot with me, even when he didn't realize that he was.
Yeah.
This is through working. Working together. When my mom passed away, he stepped up, even though he was older. He stepped up and continued to work to help out around. So throughout that time, he shared a lot of stuff. And so I don't think it'd be really hard for him to share that. He's a good man. He has his history where he wasn't the best husband back in the day, and I remember as a kid remembering all this, but it also allowed me to see what that can do to a female, right? So I had a really good relationship with my grandma and really get to know her and how she dealt with certain pains. Right?
That's important.
Yeah,
that's important to family because
huge, yeah.
Because that molds you to the kind of guy, to the man you are today. Learning from seeing and exactly. What to do, what not to do, and all those things around it. So Alejandro and Juanita, they obviously had kids, which is one of them comes out your mother, right?
Yeah, she was the oldest. Yes,
the oldest. So tell us how many kids they had and their names and. So
they. Let me.
So your mom is the oldest.
It's a big family.
It's a big family.
My dad's side. There's 18 kids.
Damn.
So on my mom's side, I'll start from the oldest to the youngest. So my mom's the oldest. Her name was Gregoria, and then we have my aunt Maria, the twins, Julia and Veronica, and then for the guys' side, it's my uncle Alfredo, Ray, and Neto. So I think that's seven or eight of them.
About, yes.
Yeah.
And what was your last name? I forgot to ask.
For my grandpa's side, it's Quesada.
Quesada.
Quesada. Yeah.
Alejandro Quesada.
Quesada, and then his other name was Gomez.
Okay. And Quesada, is that spelled with the Q-U...
Quezada.
C-A-D-A. Okay. I think I've only met another Quesada in my entire life. It's kind of
probably
unique.
Family. If it's in Escondido, they're probably family.
Yeah. His name is Eric.
They all came here, and they didn't leave. Eric. I have a cousin named Eric Ramirez.
Okay, no, this was Eric
his last
Quesada.
name's not Quesada.
Okay. Who knows? It might be.
Maybe I have a cousin out there that
you don't know.
I don't know him yet. I haven't met him yet.
Yeah, your grandpa didn't tell you. Your grandpa didn't tell you about that one. He just sent them to Escondido.
There you go.
So yeah, you got your mom had about 6 siblings on that side of the family. Your mom being the oldest, and you said that your grandpa Alejandro was one of the first ones, if not the first one, from his family to migrate to come to the U.S. and work for a better life, bringing over his daughters first, and the sons later on. Do you know a little bit about your grandpa? I'm sure he's told you over the time working with him what he did for work, where he went in the States. Did he move around, or did he just come to Escondido?
He came to Escondido. He went out of Florida for some time, and then came back to California. From if I remember that correctly, he told me back, before all this construction was around, even we were just talking about the Freeway 56, all that used to be tomato fields back in the day. So he used to work that, and he was a farmer at the beginning, and then he started working for a landscape company. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he met someone there. The guy ended up opening up his own landscape company. My grandpa went to go work with them and worked with them ever since, mm-hmm. until he retired. My dad did the same, and a lot of family members went to go work with them.
Do you remember the landscape company name?
Oh yeah, it's called Meister's Landscape Construction. My dad still works with them.
Okay, so the company's still around.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my dad's been with them probably for 35 years.
Okay,
he's been a long time ago. They do from what I know, no marketing. It's all word of mouth, and but they got good. They do really good work.
And they've been in the industry, or they've been in business now for
very long,
yeah. 60 years.
That's
maybe.
What you get with usually with the older folks. They're not used to marketing, so when they start learning about this new thing, or you got to post things online and videos and all that, it's all new to them. It's like just an extra cost to business, but you got to do it, mm-hmm. or you're gonna get left behind.
Nowadays,
in my opinion, yeah.
Yeah. So they're pretty much family friends at this point. I'm assuming that Meisters, that family that started that company, they've known your grandfather, they've known your dad, your family. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much
they know me. I still have a lot of memories as a kid. When I was 6 years old, going to work, I remember seeing my grandpa work, my dad, uncles, and all that. So mm-hmm. that's kind of what really sparked the whole thing of me not wanting to be out there breaking my back every mm-hmm. day, because I saw all that through my dad and my grandpa, and I said, I don't want to do this.
Right.
I enjoy working out, I enjoy staying active, but physically I can't.
Right.
And then mentally, I see what that does to the family.
Especially at a young age, because I've had that same experience myself. My dad has worked in construction for most of his life, but during the weekends, he would help out my uncle, or my dad himself would have to, go to houses, do the landscaping, and so he would take me. I wouldn't do anything. I'd be 5, 7 years old, but I might, take my sandwich and pick up leaves and stuff like that. But I started working at a very young age, and I remember thinking not wanting to do this for the rest of my life.
And it comes with my grandma, telling me how hard my mom works, how hard my aunts work, right? And then my grandpa expressing himself, even though he didn't really express himself a lot with other people, but him saying, him being tired, me seeing him tired, and everything he went through, you kind of start to, at least for me, you kind of start putting 1, 2, and 3 together, right? And kind
Yeah.
of see what that adds up to.
Yeah. 100%. So then he came to Escondido. He was one of the first ones in the family to come over here, and had all those kids. How old was your mom when she came over here? And
I think she was 19.
Okay.
So it's an interesting story, but my dad, he's a big dancer. I should probably dig into that. You know how they I don't know about digging into it now because she passed away, but he was a big dancer. They met in Mexico. My mom was going to come to the U.S., and so she pretty much stole my dad and said, "Let's go."
Come with
and
me.
My dad came.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It usually goes the other way around.
No, it was not like that. So she brought him over here, and you know, I think they were like 18 or 19 because that's when my sister. I think they had my sister at like 19 or 20 years old.
Mhm.
So I think that was about around the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Your dad must have been like
But
really in love.
My mom was a go-getter too.
Yeah.
You know, she and a lot of the things that I've learned are from her, and seeing her hustle, and then me trying to do what I do, and seeing her stress and seeing what she went through to have what she had.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. And then so your mom was the first one over here.
Mhm.
Brought your dad along, so they were probably already dating. They were boyfriend and girlfriend back in the day, back in Mexico.
I don't know if they were.
Or she just brought a friend over.
I think it was just she just brought a friend over because my dad, I knew he was dating someone at the time, and then you know he met my
left.
mom, and from what I know, he left the other one over there, which is wrong, but he left the other one over there, and they came over here, and they eventually got married.
She put on the group chat, "Hey, who's down to come to the U.S.?" And then he was the only one that replied.
Oh, I don't think he had a choice.
No, that's amazing. But man, see, if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Your family wouldn't be here.
I mean, and that's life. You know, you take one left turn, and then you never know what the right could have been.
Yeah, and then you start a new life on that left turn. No, that's beautiful. What can you tell us about the rest of your mom's siblings? Your tios and tios.
They're great. You know, it's very very different, and I'm very very black and white about everything. Right. Very different. They're very different cultures, very different people. I love them all, respect them all, and they're just it's very very they're very old school, more stuck in the older ways. Nothing that's just the way they view life.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No. There isn't. And on my dad's side, it's also very very different.
Mhm.
Very very outgoing. They just want to party, have a good time. And this is very different. And I say that because there's certain things that I learned along the way I was as I was growing up, where certain siblings have certain differences, you know, mom and dad or whatever, brother and sister or whatever, and then there's just not they're not talking. And I know there's certain circumstances, certain things that come in life that they're a little tough to get through, right? But I saw that, and what I got out of that was that I'm not gonna have this with my siblings,
Mhm.
right? I'm not gonna not talk to them, not have these arguments. And there's things that we don't always agree about everything. But at the end of the day, we're if it's me or if it's them, if it's not them, then it's gonna be me.
Mhm.
We got to be the bigger person and apologize or whatever and get over it and move on,
Mhm.
right? And just be kind and loving to one another, right?
Right.
Then you got to draw that line, because you got to say, like, no matter what, we're gonna stick together, and we're gonna make it through, because it's a relationship. It's no different than you and a wife or a girlfriend. You gotta commit to it and say, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna come together, and sometimes you need your space, you need your time, but you got to come together and deal with that.
Especially with your own blood.
Yeah.
Especially with your own blood. Yeah.
Mhm.
100%. So, like you mentioned earlier, some of those deals ended up working with your grandfather,
Mhm.
and in the landscaping company.
They all did, but one of them, he went to go work at it was a factory. He used to work with like like building certain products with it was like plastic products and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
So yeah,
And so it was three of them. You said, right?
3 males, yes.
What about your tias?
So they all used to like a lot of Latinos in the come. They used to clean homes.
Hmm.
So they used to work with a company or someone they knew, and they would clean homes. And then they started working for a hotel called DoubleTree, which down in Rancho Bernardo, which has the best chocolate chip cookies, man.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it still there?
they call it the Marriott now, but or maybe it's part of of Marriott, but it was DoubleTree. I think it's Rancho Bernardo, and you make a left. But I remember going there as a kid, and my mom taking me to work and picking me up from school, or taking me to work and just telling me to just sit there at the
Break room.
break room while she went to go work.
Hmm.
Obviously, me as a kid, I mean, at least I can't stay put, man. I cannot stay put. So I would wander around,
You'd get in trouble.
and I would go and just walk the whole resort and the rooms, and sometimes I would follow my mom and see what she would do, and she would just go while they were working, and I would see my aunts and everything. It was and then I already knew my ways around, so I just like go back to the break room to not get in trouble, because if I did, I would get my ass whooped, right?
Yeah.
And so and and that's the thing is like it's yeah. So but it was some good times. So.
Damn. Okay, so they worked in and it's essentially the hospitality industry
Yeah.
under. Um, that's amazing. You know, those little, memories like that, like, remind us of like so many things, like, dates and times, and then other people that were there during
Hmm.
those scenarios, those times. That's beautiful. Um, so your mom brought your dad over. Um, they ended up here. They did that. Let's dig a little bit into your dad's side of the family, because I want this. I want them to meet here in Escondido, and then that's where you come in. Your family comes in.
Hmm.
So let's take it back to your dad. What can you tell us about your dad's family? Where they come from? I mean, they come from the same area, but
So um, my grandpa, he's from my mom's side. I'll say he's strict, but he's a softie.
mhm,
He's a softie, and on my dad's side, he was a lot more strict. If he said something, he's gonna go and do it, right? So they had 18 kids. So obviously it was all back to back. A lot of them passed away when they were young, from being stung by a scorpion, or back in the day when the hospital wasn't down the street, right?
mhm.
So, but my grandma had 18 kids. There's twins on both sides of the family, and what I can say about my dad is that it was a very a lot of it revolved around working,
Mhm.
working, going to work, going and work on the land, and go farm and sell whatever they would produce to to make some money, right? Both sides were very poor. My dad would, at times they would just all they had was salt and tortillas, and that's all they would eat, beans and tortillas and all of that. And I went out there as a kid. When I remember going there as a we would normally stay over at my dad's side with my grandparents, at their property. And I as a kid, I remember seeing these kids being naked, just being in underwear. No, they're poor. It was there's no gas station, there's no grocery store or nothing. You're way out there, no service, no nothing, right?
It was a total like shocker to you.
It was a
Yeah.
shocker, but I can tell those are some of the best memories that I had as a kid, and even till this day. It shows you that you don't need a lot in this world, and that's true to this day. A
To
lot
be
of these things
happy.
are just materialistic things, man. And I would have conversation with these kids, and some of these kids I probably had some of the best friendships till this day, right?
Hmm.
They were just honest and real, and we were just being kids and having a good time and wandering around and going up to the mountain, being gone for hours and coming
Hmm.
back till sunset, right? So from my dad's side, very hardworking. No matter what, you go to work and You provide. Your backers. My dad got injured from his back, but
Especially with 18 kids in the family
yeah, you
with your
provide.
grandparents. Yeah.
And a lot of my grandpa was known as a grump of the town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gray hair, but when I met him, I never saw that side of him. He was just a a happy guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can remember him from. And but I can only imagine the stress that and the happiness as well, but the stress and the that he carried on with 18 kids.
Oh yeah.
But my grandma, she was always in a positive mood, happy. She was always very happy.
Full of life.
Yeah, dude, she in the moment, and I see that, and as a guy, her total opposite from him, and having and giving him that, that's great,
Mm-hmm.
because he's receiving a total opposite, right? So opposites attract sometimes, right, or a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times. But very hardworking, very different. You work, you go to work, you get along around work, you suck it up. You have problems, you leave them in the tree, hang them up in the tree, and get to work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's very different. So I got to experience both sides from my grandpa and from my dad of the way that they work, but it was very just work. That's all it was.
And what did you? So you said that he. Well, before we get into it,
Mhm.
what was his name? Your
My
grandpa from your dad's.
it was what's his name? I haven't said it in a long time. It's it starts with a T.
Or your dad, or your
My
your.
dad's name's Noe, so we
Your
both have the same name, Noe.
okay.
My his mom is Agustina. I want to say Altero, something like that.
Okay, that's okay. I mean, he must have passed away a while ago. No.
Yeah, he did. I was probably like 20, so maybe
Okay.
like 13 years. No, maybe like 18, so like 13, 16 years ago.
Yeah. And so what you said that he did back in the day as work was like just work in the campos,
Yeah,
kind of like a.
he was just a farmer. He would go and he had a couple properties, and he would just go and farm and go sell it. That's all he knew was just work.
Sell what he would farm.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember what it was? Was it like corn? Was it
A lot of it was it's a type of bean is what it is. It's called gomba. That's what it's called. So it's a type of bean. It's what it is. It's like white, and it's probably 3 times the size of just a regular pinto bean.
Mhm.
I'm not the biggest fan. It's good, but that's what they would sell.
Mhm.
A lot of people plant that and sell that over there.
comba?
Gomba, yeah,
Okay.
and it's white, and then right when it curves, it's like a little bit of black and brown in there.
I think I've seen that bean.
You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different types of beans, but yeah, that was kind of. But here's the thing: is that it was a lot of work, but I think during that work it shows you because work breaks you down, physically, mentally when you're out there working, but I really got to see their way of connecting and getting along and getting over things, right?
Mm.
Very different.
Compared to the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all both great people. Like I
Right,
said,
of
they're all
course.
great. It's just different ways of growing up, right?
Well, I wonder if like just because it was a bigger family too, and maybe they experienced some death early on in the family too, like they had that realization of like it's all we have.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's you. I can't imagine losing a kid. I don't have kids,
Mhm.
but you have. They had 18 kids, and a lot of them passed away.
Mhm.
What kind of pain do you carry? How do you communicate that? But even then, I still see that. My grandma, sorry, she was very happy, right? So, but my grandpa, who knows how he dealt with it,
Yeah.
right?
It's a
Just
different story.
he's a male. Some we can say male and female, but he has feelings too. And what did he go through?
Exactly. And the type of men back in the day, they wouldn't express their feelings, especially like you mentioned, your grandparents, they
Yeah.
were kind of more of the reserved
Mhm.
side of personalities. Um, so he would sell the beans that the gomba he would farm, that he would harvest. And did he ever come to the States? Did anyone of his sons? Oh, and I want to ask, where does your dad fall into the children? What?
He's like right in the middle. Most of them stayed in Mexico. my dad's a fighter. Like he's what he'll do what it takes to provide for his family. Like he's not gonna sit around and wait around.
Hmm.
And my mom is too. They both are. And so I think I get a lot of it from both. But my dad is a lot of it. He gets a lot of that from his dad too. Is where they suck it up. You don't share your feelings, and you get to work,
Hmm.
right? Um, which can be a good and a bad at times,
Right.
right? And I've myself have had to learn to be a little bit more expressiveness, and it's taken a long time. And it's only until like the last few years where I really had to like realize like, hey, we got to express ourselves, right? Especially if you're with someone. Um, and but sometimes it takes the right person to be able to
Make you feel safe to do
yeah, like
so.
look at my dad. My dad's 50, he's 58, 57 or 58 years old, right? So my mom passed away, and he got remarried like 8 years ago or something like that. Totally different guy.
Mm.
Very different. Brings out different colors. And like he like 8 years ago, he called me and he's like telling me I love you. That's super weird for me, man.
Never heard that before.
Like I know he does, and it feels good, and I
Hmm.
know he does, but I don't need to hear from him. I don't, or maybe I do need to hear it, right? But it was kind of weird at the moment.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need that, that other a certain person to come in and teach you,
Hmm.
right?
Teach you. Yes, that's the thing. Um, and I was curious. This thought has been lingering in the back of my mind
Hmm.
before we move any further into the conversation regarding the area where your family is from in Guerrero. Excuse me. Where how would you describe it geographically?
It is close to the equator, very down there. It's very inland. It's probably like 4 or 5 hours inland from Acapulco. A
Hmm.
lot of people know where Acapulco's at. Um, and it's way out there. Like I said, it's in there. Very green. When it rains, it gets very green. And during the heat, it gets very hot, very dry.
Is this a valley or is this
It,
flat
it,
land?
it's flat, but you do got the cerros, you do got the mountains besides you, so it's kind of like Escondido. Escondido gets hot,
Hmm.
and everything, the heat comes, the heat's in there. Um, so very green, very hot. Like when you're walking, dude, your feet get hot. Like you're
Oh,
wearing shoes, you're wearing sandals, it gets hot. So they call it tierra caliente because it's like hot land.
yeah.
Because the dirt's like reddish, like it's like a reddish color, but it gets hot.
Mm.
Yeah.
And dang, that's crazy to think that so many people like just decided to like stay there and live there, right? To make a life in like
Yeah.
hard, you know, h- hard areas to live in, to geographically speaking, right? Do you know why? It might be a reached out question, but do you know why your family landed there? Like, was it because there was
I
like,
don't I don't know, but I mean, if I can just put myself in their shoes back in the day, and you got a family, you got to provide. Kind of their mentality is like you just got to go and work and provide for your family, and I still think about it sometimes like that until this day. Is sometimes we put our feelings to the side, and we just got to get to work,
hmm
right? It may be hot, it may be cold, but we got to provide.
hmm
At least that's the way I think about it as a guy. If you have a family, you got to provide.
what was the main, from what you recall when you visited before, what was the main uh, economic driver in that area? Was it the farming? Was it cattle? Was it leather work? Was it
It was
tourism?
cattle. Yeah, no tourism, just cattle and farming. Corn was another one. Corn, combas, and that was the main thing. It was just, and everybody did the same thing. Like,
Hmm.
and then eventually, as I got a little older, then you start seeing people, little businesses kind of pop up. Now I haven't been there in like probably 12 years. It's been a while, or maybe 15 years actually. But I've heard it's very different,
Hmm.
and I've actually been planning. I should probably go back and visit, and really see. I know it's gonna be a shocker. It's gonna be very different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, it's gonna be like your grandpa when like he used to work off the 56 when there used to be tomatoes,
Mhm. Well,
and
I mean,
coming back and there's like a
dude,
freeway right
it's
in the
like coming
middle.
back coming back to Escondido. I've been moving around for 12 years. Every year, at least once a year, I've moved for the last 12 years since
Mm.
I'm 33 now. So I was like 21, 22, somewhere around there. I just been moving around.
And coming back to Escondido was a shocker a little bit.
Well, I've been gone for. I've usually come once a year, but I think the longest I've gone was like 2 years. But sometimes I would come, but I would only come to Escondido to just my dad's house, and then that was it. I never came down Grand Avenue or anywhere else.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like I just about a year ago when I came back and started driving around, and I was like, there's actually been a lot of improvements, and I'm like, this is how my dad or my mom would feel when they would go back visit their town.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty cool because you see different stuff. It's not the same. It's just not the same. It's different.
It's evolving.
Mhm.
And hopefully, so far it's been for the good, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we don't want to stay in the same spot. We don't want to stay comfortable and content. So everyone was farming at that point. Your family was your on your dad's side, they were doing the farming of beans and so on. Your dad comes in about the middle of the 18 children. I know it's a reach question as
Mhm.
well again, but do you know the names or even a little bit 5, 6, 4 names that you can throw out there
Man, there's
just to remember?
there's so many, and the thing is that my grandma raised a lot that were not her kids.
Mm,
She viewed them as kids, and they were blood. But some of these kids are, her kids, right? Her grandchild's
mm,
children. And so, while they would come here to the U.S., she was taking care of these kids. So some of these guys, that male mainly, I ask them, and to me they're like my uncle, but really we're cousins.
oh, really?
but they're like my uncles, and I respect them a lot. And I sometimes I call them uncle, sometimes I just call them by their name because I don't know what
You
to
don't
call
know.
them.
And that makes sense because there's such a big, there's got to be such a big age gap between the 18 kids that were born, from the first one to the middle one to the last one. One could be 50 years old or the other one could be, 20 years old and whatever the case is. So it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, if you can't remember, it's okay.
I remember a lot of their names, male and female. There's just so many to name, but and a lot of them have nicknames too.
Hmm.
Like it's just that's the other thing about on my dad's side is there's a lot of joking around. And you go to work, you joke around. You can't take it, they joke on you even more until you get used to it.
So that's funny that you say that because they work, and your dad's side of the family has such a hardworking mentality. But maybe the way that they get through it is through, humor, through comedy, through
Yeah,
joking,
exactly.
and that's how that's how their family
And
stays
and I
tight.
and I do it. We still do it. With me and my cousins, we do it. But with a few of them, I've had to realize like, hey, you gotta, they got feelings, and let me wheel it back a little bit and not get too deep into it because not everybody can take it.
Yeah, not everyone. So then, your dad was growing up. What can you tell us a little bit about your dad? Remind me of your dad's name.
Noe.
Noe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your name. Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you know? What has he told you about growing up in Mexico?
So my dad, obviously, the working part is there. Loved to play soccer. Was really good with numbers. So he, I think he only went up to like middle school, he graduated middle school, and that was it. But was really good with numbers. I actually looked at his grades, 9 10s in math. Um, he's very sharp. My dad's very sharp. He's shown me to, we'll get into that, but as a kid, him growing up, he was just, just living in the moment, trying to enjoy the moment and enjoy what he has.
Hmm.
And so it was a lot of just, working, playing soccer. He loved to dance. He used to close himself up in the room. They had a mirror, and he would just dance.
Okay.
He would just dance and dance, and he's a really good dancer at Zapateado.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him and Christian's dad when they get together, dude, they're the show of
Game
the
over.
party, dude. They have such a unique. Christian's dad has a unique. He has such a unique dancing style. They both do, but they used to dance a lot.
Hmm.
And so back in the day, that was kind of like the thing. There was not much going on. It's like you're in the middle of nowhere, and they would have these bailes, and people, these bands, and people would play, and people would go and party and all that.
Yeah.
And they would have festivals like the rodeos, and people go to the rodeos, and then you sponsor the rodeos, and people go and ride the bulls. They give things away, like
Yeah.
gifts away. So my dad till this day he goes every year, and I know they relive those memories every time they go
That's beautiful.
because that's their that's their happiness. And my dad doesn't express himself a lot, but I can tell by certain things he said, the certain music that they listen to. You listen to that music, and you can kind of and you look at them, you can see how they're feeling. They express themselves in other ways.
Yeah. Like, when he's listening to a certain type of music, he's in a good mood.
Exactly.
He's not. And
He doesn't have to tell me. I just know how he's feeling.
Mm.
You don't gotta ask, and sometimes you don't gotta ask someone to know how they're feeling. Sometimes you just gotta just listen.
Listen in different ways. Oh, that's beautiful. So, your dad seems like he, as a young kid too, as growing up, he might have gotten a lot of your grandma's traits. As you said, your grandma was very happy. She was raising all these kids, but she was always very happy. It sounds like your dad got a little bit of that too. I mean, obviously, he's your grandma and grandpa's son, but you get those traits, and so now I'm curious, since you brought this up, how are you related to Christian? Because you're a Toledo, and he's a Magadan.
Yeah, so Christian's grandpa, right? So Christian, he has his dad. So Christian's dad and my dad are cousins. Now we're Latino, so sometimes when we say we're cousins, we're not really cousins, but we say we're cousins and we act like cousins, right? But if I can backtrack it, I want to say it's somewhere in my my dad's dad and his dad. I don't even know, like it.
So your grandpa and his dad?
I've been told, but I can't recall exactly how. I just know we're cousins.
But you guys are from the same area?
They're both from the same town.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both from the same town. They're like 3 blocks away from each other, just down the street. Somehow it's just, and I'm not making it. Somehow they are like somewhere around the tree. They actually do connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I do have those cousins where down the tree we don't connect, but they're my cousin.
Yeah. You call anyone primo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We just get along very well.
And,
And we love each other and we respect each other. They're like family. And I've always said that. I mean, you don't have to be blood to be family. You don't.
No. So your dad, growing up, enjoyed dancing, enjoyed working hard, and then had a really close relationship with I'm assuming his mom too, right? Because she raised him. Where do you know how far he went into his education?
My dad, I think, was just I want to say just middle school.
Okay, that's around everyone I've interviewed that has family coming from Mexico. They've kind of stopped at 6th grade, 7th grade.
That's about where they, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, because I think after that, then you have to pay, or you go to school further. They don't put schools anywhere close to where you live, so you'd have to take 3 hours to go to school. When your parents tell you, I used to, an exaggeration, but they used to tell you, I used to fight a dragon, I used to fucking, conquer the princess, and go through 5 waterfalls to go to school. And you're like, man, you're lying, but you take it into consideration. Back in the day, the roads weren't paved, or the brush through the trail and stuff like that. It was 5 hours or 3 hours, as they say.
At least most people wouldn't leave their kids to go walk down the street.
Mm-hmm.
I used to walk 15-20 minutes in 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, all elementary, to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
But then you really think about them, they do the same. So to them, it's normal.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays, a lot of people wouldn't do it.
Not even take the bus. Yeah. So, what else can you tell us about your dad before coming over here? Or if you don't have anything else to tell us about before he came over here, tell us when he came over here. He must have met your mom as a friend during that time, during his teens.
He probably met her at a party. He used to party a lot. He still parties a lot. He loves to dance. He dances a lot.
And what kind of music is this? You said zapateado. So
he loves zapateado. It's a lot of the. I got a few artists that I can name, but a lot of it's like zapateado, kind of like it's a unique. A lot of it's very different parts of Mexico. They're kind of like similar, but different areas are a little different, right?
Yes.
For the most part. A lot of them, it's like I call like corridos and stuff. It's like rap in English,
Right.
but they
So
all
many subgenres to it.
hmm
Yeah.
exactly. What I can say about him, I mean, I think he had a vision, and he was determined, and I think he saw how hard his parents worked, and with the sacrifices, and he had a vision to provide them and give them what they gave him. So he was grateful and thankful for that. So he had to leave his country, which was hard to come here, and obviously, I mean, he met my mom, but it didn't come alone. But to sacrifice that, which is tough to leave your. I don't know if you ever left, but to leave your family behind, it's not easy. And so, for him to, what I can say about him is that he was determined to give his parents a better life,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of Latinos try to do, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that, don't ever get that opportunity to actually because they pass away or whatever, right? It's a lot. You don't just come to the U.S. making it seem like the land of the great land, and you're just going to come and do it. No,
Yeah.
it's a lot of hard work. It's no different than being over there. You got to put a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier here? That can be a debate, but it's where it just comes. What are you willing to put to get out of it,
Right.
and what are you willing to sacrifice to get out of it, right? And so, um, I would say I'm probably learning more about my dad since I've been here the last couple of years, going back and forth. Ever since I was kind of away, I think that kind of what brought our relationship a little bit close. So I can probably tell you more about about him now than when he was a kid.
Right. No, right. Rightfully so. You weren't there when he was a kid, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Let's get into how your mom and dad, like we mentioned right now, they must have met down there at a party or something. Where they came straight to Escondido together. Tell us from there on.
No, they were in Encinitas. We were, which my cousin still works there. Sorry, still lives there. It's a good location. It's like right on the 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like really close to the beach. But from what I know, they moved. They were there for some time. My sister was born. They lived there, and then my mom was pregnant, and so obviously prices are coming up around the time. Prices are always going up, and then so they decided to move to Escondido because I was gonna be born, and so they were looking for cheaper routes, right? So they moved over to the same block, which is on 6th Avenue, where most of the people that live there are still family. It's just these people just don't leave. Christian lived there, I lived there, and when we did move out of there, when I was 6 years old, and we did move, that's when my 6, 7 years old. That's when my mom and dad bought a home. It was literally just a block away, 7th Avenue. So I was always there on 6th Avenue every day. Almost every day. I would go
6th
out
and what?
6th and 7th, 6th, 7th, and Redwood.
And Redwood.
Here in Escondido.
Okay,
Yeah.
so over here by the
You got Quids and then you got Redwood.
Yep. So yeah, by the by the laundromat, but like more inland.
Yes, a little bit, kind of between there and Westside Park. Westside Park.
Yeah.
If you're from Escondido and you're around that area, you know where that.
I know exactly. Yeah. I live around that area,
That's
so I know
funny.
exactly where. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to just go and just some good times.
So dude, we grew up around the same area, you and I, and our family. So they moved from Encinitas to Escondido. Man, if they would have known how much prices would have gone up back in the day, you should have told them stay there. Buy a house here.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that at the time, I don't know if they were residents yet, but they moved to Escondido. Eventually became residents. My dad's a U.S. citizen now, and they bought their first home in 1999 or 2000, which is on 7th Avenue. They bought that home. But I don't know if they think about. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're young. It's very different when I think about that because now you got the internet. You got people in your face the whole time talking about stuff. Back then, there's you don't got any of that. And so I know I hear this from my aunts and my uncle. They call it the good old times, right? Back when they were more in what I call more in the moment.
100% in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you live in the moment, you create more memories, And
Exactly.
if you're working, if you're working and all you're thinking is about working, or you're not enjoying your outside, your personal life, your family life, you're not living in the moment. You're not creating memories. You're just creating work memories, and it becomes repetitive, right? So, 100%, you're right. They're it's just different. So when your mom at that time, when they were living in Sanitas, and your dad over here, they
Hmm.
came with the purpose, right? They came with a purpose of working. Your dad was going to work in a landscaping company with your grandpa, right?
Hmm.
Your mom was going to work. Maybe she didn't have a purpose. I don't know, but she found a job in the cleaning.
Oh yeah, she was clean. She was always hustling.
Yeah.
Like she was always trying to. She was always stressed.
Mhm.
Always stressed. I mean, she was a positive lady, strong lady who sacrificed a lot. And my dad's a great person. He is, but my dad's young. My dad wants to party. He's in the moment. My mom's thinking a lot about the future,
Mhm.
right?
And let's share with us your mom's name. We haven't touched that.
Gregoria.
Oh yes, we
Yeah.
did. Sorry,
And so,
Gregoria.
yeah, no worries. And so, very different. So she was always hustling, and always trying to somehow make some money,
Mhm.
even if it was, dude. She used to, they used to sell. I say we, but it was her. I used to sell tortillas because I used to work for free, but I lived for free, route too. And people would come and knock on the door, and hey, $1.25 for a dozen of tortillas or eggs. And she figured out the source. Where do you go and find the tortillas? Where do you find the eggs? And then you sell them, and you make a little bit of money, right? So that was a big lesson for me.
Mhm.
Now being in business, find the source. You got the middleman, but find the source,
Mhm. And you
right?
got demand.
Hmm. And so she sold eggs, she sold tortillas, she sold cologne.
Mm.
Interesting story. I just left. I went to the Carlsbad outlets, and I bought cologne and perfumes for my brothers and their boyfriend and girlfriend and my dad and his wife. I bought them all colognes, and I was telling the lady like this is so funny how this is like. I told her this is funny because my mom used to sell colognes, and I'm over here giving colognes for as a gift. Like
Mm.
I'm giving it, but it was she was always just trying to make some money, right? So
Yeah.
she's always thinking. She
She's always
sold
hustling.
Herbalife, so many. She was trying so many different things.
Yeah.
She did.
She
She was
wasn't
just
afraid of
no. She was
trying.
not. Oh, dude, she sold shoes too, like high heels, like Andreas. I never heard of
Yes,
Andreas.
I did.
We used to go to Chula Vista and go to these warehouses, and so that kind of as a kid, like it all starts clicking, and then I would go to Macy's and I'm like, what the $80? She's over here buying it for like $20, $30 and selling it for $60, $70. So
Mhm.
you start learning all that, right? Um, so very, very, very business driven.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, just trying to, just a fighter trying to, provide for her family,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
So I get that from both sides, from my dad's side and from my mom, just very different
I
different
think
ways.
I think you get the hard work ethic from your dad's side.
Hmm.
Not that your mom is not,
Yeah,
but I think you get the entrepreneurial, you know,
yeah. We you,
spirit
you
from
know
your
you
mom's
got you
side.
got the ethics and the morals and all
You
that,
get the
right?
risk taking
Yeah.
from your mom's side,
Hmm.
maybe. That's what I mean to say.
And you got to take risk.
Yeah,
You have to take
you
risk.
have to.
I've done as a kid. I've done so many different things, and we can get into it if you want. But so many different things to somehow figure it out, and I'm still figuring it out. Right?
Hmm. No, that's beautiful. I want to take a quick break right here because I need to use the restroom. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back and talk a little bit more about your mom and your dad.
Good.
Cool.